what's going on, guys? We're back with part 20 of our Learning C# tutorial, and today we're going to go ahead and see if we can add on some really important characteristics of our game that we haven't done before, and that is a game over scene, whether it's you win game over or you lose game over. So we're going to make another script in utilities. I know it's getting kind of cluttered. I probably should have made a health folder just for these 3 health scripts, and then test we could have kept in there, but for now it's fine. We'll go ahead and make this, we'll call it game over. We'll make a public void and we'll call it game over, and then we'll take in a boolean of did win. So basically this script is going to manage game over, whether it's game over through us dying or game over through us getting to the end point. And then that will be taken in by this boolean value. So if it's true, then it means we won. If it's false, it means we died. So we'll do if did win. So if we won, then we're going to call won sequence. Else we're going to do lost sequence. Let's go ahead and just generate some methods for this. Alrighty, so either way, before we even do this, we're going to do time.timescale equals 0, and that'll basically freeze time. So we don't have, enemies running around causing errors, because if you notice at the bottom, the errors are because the player was destroyed, but the enemy references a player in its script whenever they're spawned in. So it cannot, it's just throwing up a bunch of errors that's wasting resources. So instead we're just going to set the timescale to 0, and then we're going to actually do the sequence. So if we've won, we're going to and here's the thing where we would place sounds or animations or things like that. Instead, we're going to make a new GUI method, and we're going to do a GUI layout.begin area. I'll explain this in a minute. New rect. We'll do screen.width divided by 2 minus 200, screen.height divided by 2 minus 200, and then we'll do 400, 400. And then below it we'll do GUI layout dot end area. We'll make 2 new properties. We'll make a private bool. Actually, I have a better idea, just to clean this up. Delete these 2 methods here, and delete this in here. We'll just do 1, and then we'll do 1 equals did win. Okay, and we'll say in here, if we've won, and then we'll do GUI layout dot label congratulations, you've won. Else we'll do GUI layout dot label game over. Okay, and then here's stuff we want to do whether we've won or not. We'll do GUI layout dot label. We'll do score manager dot get score dot to string was your score. Then we'll do if GUI layout dot button retry. Then we will do an application dot load level 0. Okay, I'll go ahead and start explaining some of this stuff here. Obviously, we still have a little bit of stuff to do. I need to explain, or set up the scorer as well. So basically what this GUI layout does is, if you notice in our player GUI, GUI layout just takes the top left area, prints the health, then since that's already been taken up, the next GUI layout label will take up the top left minus, or like down a little bit. Now what the begin area does is take a rectangle on the screen and set that to the area to begin on. So for instance, this first label will take up the top left of this area here, defined by the rectangle. Now the rectangle is the distance from the left, the distance from the top, its width, and its height. So this rectangle will be in the middle of the screen, minus 200, so like let's say here. The screen's height divided by 2, which is here, minus 200. And then 400 down and 400 to the right. So it should be a 400 by 400 rectangle, or a square in the middle of your screen. That's what this should be. Okay? And then we're going to print congratulations, you've won if you won, or game over. Then we're going to display the score. Then there's going to be a button. And if we click on it, that's why we have the if GUI layout.button. Retry. Then we're going to do an application.loadLevel 0. Okay? And 0 is just the integer, or the index of the level, and since we only have one level, 0 is always going to be used. Now there's one flaw with our logic here. Remember, on GUI is called every single frame, so whether we've lost or not, this will always be called. So one way we can do this is, first let's go ahead and do our score, because I have an idea of a good way to do this that we haven't learned yet. So first we'll do private, or not private, we'll do public score manager scorer. Then we'll do public void setup. And we'll do, we'll take in a score manager of S, or A, okay, whatever. Scorer equals A. And so now, let me show you what we can use this for. So if we do not attach this to our player, it will never be called because it's not attached. However, if you remember in our generic health script, here we have a to-do for our game over sequence. So in here, what we're going to do is an game object dot add component, and we're going to add in a game over. Then we'll do dot scorer equals get component score manager. Let me go ahead and see if can I just do this here. Okay, no. So what this will do is we'll take our game object that's attached to our health script, which is the player, then it'll add the game over script to it at runtime. Then after it adds the component, it will take the scorer for this script. Actually, we don't need this. Oops. And then equal that to the get component of a score manager. Okay, so this will now be added on at runtime. And then we can go ahead and do, oops. We'll do get component of game over dot game over false. Okay, and now obviously we need to set up some sort of level end where we can do call game over dot true once we've won the level. But for now, that's what this is. So let me go ahead and test this out. Yeah, it's bugging me because my videos are they're just over 10 minutes usually. Hold on one second. Okay. And I like my recording ends at every 10 minutes, so that's why it's It's usually not fair. Okay. Okay, so this is just complaining because our method name is the same as the class name and it shouldn't be like that. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and rename this real quick. We'll do dot set game over. Okay, and then we'll just copy this here. Hit save. And then generic health odds. Oh, we didn't save it. There we go. Okay. So now it's once, it's twice, and that's 3 times. Oh, okay. That was stupid of me. So, one thing you want to keep in mind is, well, you guys are probably yelling at your computer monitors right now. We're adding this component, score, game over to it. However, we're now destroying our game object, so we're destroying the script that we just added on top of that. So instead of destroying it, a better idea is to we'll create a new game object. We'll do game object, or not game over. Game. Why is it not showing up? Oh, I see. This should be Unity Engine and not Unity Editor. There we go. Game object go equals new game object. Now what this does is it'll automatically spawn in a new empty game object with 0 position, 0 rotation. It's just the most generic game object you could possibly have. Then we're going to do, instead of game object to add component, we'll do go to add get component. So we're adding this component to our to the newly created game object. So now we can add game over to it, add in our own score manager, set the game over to false, and then destroy this our own player's game object. However, there's a little change we want to do in here, and that is change this score manager here to int, and then we'll just do score, and then here we'll do score.toString, and then back in our generic health script, and we'll do score equals get component score manager dot get score. So this way we're not adding in that the script, because before, if we added in the script, if we destroyed it, it will no longer have access to that script because it's been destroyed. However, if we get the script and then get the integer, we no longer have a reference to the script. We only have the number. So we're just setting the number, and obviously it's not going to change once the game is over. So there's no worry about that. Then we set the game over to false, and then destroy ourselves. So let's go ahead and try this out. Okay. It's once, it's 2, that's 3. And you'll see we're still getting these null reference exceptions even though the game is frozen. That's because the scripts will continue running even if the game is frozen. So you can see when it says game over, 0 was our score. We can hit retry, and we'll reload the level. Can't tell if I just froze the game. My computer's running pretty slowly right now. Let's go ahead and get some score actually, just so we can make sure that that's working. Alright, now let's die. So our score is 8. Boom. And it says game over, 8 was your score. Alrighty. So the next thing, we're just going to get rid of this real quick. Enemy at 46. Alright, so we'll do, in our check collision, we'll do if player equals null, which means if the player is no longer existing, we're going to just return from this function before we do any sort of collision. Okay? And that should be it. Okay, so next time, it's been a rather lengthy video, next time we're going to go ahead and move into some sort of way to end the level, so probably some sort of trigger where you hit the end of the level and then it'll trigger the game over to true. I'll see you guys then.